Welcome back. I'm Mr. Smith, reading the Superteacher Project by Korman, Chapter 11. Last chapter, we had Oliver and Nathan setting up their prank. This chapter, we'll see how it goes. So, Chapter 11, Oliver's on. I guess I grew a lot more than I thought since 5th grade. When I take out the Batman costume, it looks like some outfit for one of those American Girl dolls. Well, not that small, but you get the picture. I'm stuck with it though. The Halloween dance starts in less than an hour. It's too late to come up with a plan B, so I strip down to my skivvies and I step into the feet, and I pull that stretchy polyester fabric all the way up. It's a pretty tight squeeze, especially if you like to breathe, but I practically have to dislocate both of my shoulders to get in, too. I read somewhere that Houdini had to do that to escape from a straitjacket. Well, if he can do it in the name of stardom, then I can do it in the name of rule wrecking. I throw on the cape and the headpiece, and I examine myself in the mirror. Wow, I look like I've been spray painted gray. It's so tight you can tell that my belly button's an innie rather than an outie. It's pretty humiliating. The good news is that I've got the Grim Reaper cloak to cover it up with, and a skeleton mask to complete the outfit. I'm only going to be Batman while I'm riding the big wheel in the video, and no one's going to know that that's me. Leaving now, I call out to my parents. I won't be too late. My mom catches up with me in the hall. You be careful, Oliver. There are high schools out there, picking on the younger ones and stealing all their candy. I'm not going trick or treating, I tell her. I'm just going to the dance. There are a lot of little kids on the street already. I make a big show of pretending to scare them and be scared by them. Even the girl dressed as a Crayola crayon. I think they're a lot more scared of me, though. The skeleton mask is kinda creepy. The kids are all carrying loot bags. Me too. But mine's not for candy. I'm hoping nobody notices that mine is shaped exactly like a big wheel. My Batman headpiece is in there too. I arrive at Nathan's house at the same time as a group of trick or treaters, and Nathan's dad tosses out a couple of Tootsie Pop into my bag. They make a loud rattling sound as they bounce off the big wheel. That was quite a stash you got there, kid, he comments. How long you been out here? Since last week? It's me, Mr. Popova. Oliver. When Nathan comes down the stairs, I realize that I got off easy with my Batman suit. His family threw out all of his old costumes, so I had to improvise with what he could find. He's wearing his mom's pink Lululemon leggings and a black t shirt that reads Death Before Dishonor. I can see his eyes burning at me through the eye holes of his skeleton mask. It's not that bad, I assure him. It's worse, he says mournfully. These Lululemons look like I forgot to put on pants. When the robe's closed, all of that will be cover, I soothed. Where's the big wheel mask? He slips a second mask into the bag, and we set out for school. He's carrying both of the sides, since I've got the bulky sack. The closer we get to Brightling, the more we're on alert. A lot of kids are arriving for the dance, clustered on the lawns, pointing and laughing, admiring one another's costumes. Keeping to the shadows, we avoid the crowd and we stash the big bag in the cover of some bushes close to the entrance. Then we put on our skeleton masks and join the group out front to make sure that everyone can see us. Two Grim Reapers, not a Batman and Lululemon guy at all. There are a few other Reapers, the usual assortment of ghosts and wizards and witches too. The football players, as usual, are too lazy to put on costumes and just wear their uniforms. Rosalie dressed up as Mary Curie, with glowing stones taped all over her white lab coat. Lackey's a medieval knight waving his 6-foot-long plastic lance far too close to people's faces. Ainsley decided to be a chipmunk. A group of 6th, 8th graders is the hit of the night so far. They've stitched themselves together in a multicolored caterpillar. They're having a little bit of trouble walking, but they're an amazing sight. I'm really impressed, but obviously, I've got bigger things to worry about in the coming hours. At exactly 6:30, they open up the doors to the gym, and we all pour in. The place looks pretty good for an amateur decorating job. Most of the credit goes to the DJ's special effects, though. He has bubbles rising all over, clouds of mist, and multicolored laser lights cutting through the air. A lot of teachers are there as chaperones, including Principal Candiotti. I spot Mr. Adact, who is methodically blowing up orange and black balloons using a helium tank. Rosalie's mom's with him, talking up a blue streak. Nathan slides up to me. Check out Perkins. He brought that giant briefcase again. I wonder what he keeps in there. Probably his personality, I reply. He wouldn't want that to escape. Nathan doesn't answer. He's staring at the door where Stinky has just entered the gym. The detention king isn't wearing a costume, or even a mask. Also, he didn't take my advice and just draw on a mustache. There are only two things different about him. First, the word me is written across his forehead in bright green magic marker. Secondly, clutched in his left hand is a sleek, silvery fish. Nathan and I practically break our legs to get over to him. Stinky, I exclaim. Glad you're here. Love the costume. Great idea to come as a. I pause, hoping he'd finish the sentence for me. That shows what you know, Stinky shoots back. I'm not wearing a costume. And he points at his forehead. Awesome, Nathan puts in. You're yourself. And he's gesturing at that scaly thing in the 8th grader's fist. Everybody thinks that my name is Stinky, which it's not, he tells us with his usual aggrieved expression. So when I started thinking about what I wanted to go as, I didn't want to be a fireman or some secretary of the Navy or something dumb. I just wanted to be me. So I wrote it right on my forehead. And why the fish? I inquire. I don't stink, so I brought along something that does to show people the difference. Me. Stinky. He brandishes the fish, and he holds it up to his nose. At least it will stink. It's still just a little frozen. Stupid fish. At that moment, the sound system blasts life with the first song of the night. Gotta fly, Stinky tells us briskly. I need to request some music that doesn't come from a kindergartner's birthday party. He hustles off to the DJ station, fish held high. I feel like we should do something, but I have no idea what, Nathan muses nervously. I shrug. What are we supposed to do? He's an 8th grader. He could probably kill us. But we're letting him make an idiot out of himself. No, we're not, I insist. The place is packed. The air is full of mist and bubbles. There are costumes everywhere you look. Who's gonna notice one little fish? At least until it starts to defrost. Relax, we've got a rule to take down tonight. Nathan stiffens his jaw, which makes that bony chin of the skeleton mask jut out. Poor kid, he doesn't have the stomach for this kind of operation. I have to hand it to Rosalie's mom. She may have laid an egg with those poison flax bars for the fundraiser, but she sure hired a great DJ, no matter what Stinky says. Pretty soon the gym is jumping with a noise off the charts. The dance floor is packed with costumes, and the snack and drink table are mobbed. It's the perfect kind of party for sneaking out of, since the teachers are completely overwhelmed by all the sights and the sounds. No one's misbehaving. Yet. But it's so wild that it looks like Halloween could dissolve the chaos in the blink of an eye. Out of the faculty, only Mr. Adact seems calm and detached. I believe that's because Mr. Adact is just always calm and detached. I have to admit, he is a very chill guy. When his back's turned, we slip from the gym and dash to the entrance. Nathan holds the door open and I haul the bag with the big wheel out of the bushes and inside. We wrestle the pink and lavender kitty bike out into the open, rip off our Grim Reaper robes, and we switch masks. I replace mine with the Batman headpiece. I have to laugh at Nathan's. He's Squidward, complete with a bouncy rubber nose. We don't have to worry about being quiet. The noise coming out of the gym is too loud. They couldn't hear us if we were screaming and banging on drums. The entire school building pulses with the heavy beat from the DJ sound system and the pounding feet of the dance floor. Nathan gulps. All right, where are we going to do this? Right outside the office, I reply. Where all dumb rules come from. I feel my chest swelling with pride. Maybe that's just the tight Batman suit. I'm experiencing the satisfaction of seeing a plan come together perfectly. A couple of minutes ago, we were two Grim Reapers at a school dance, but now we're Batman and Lulu Squidward, and the school hall is 100% empty, and 100% ours. We set up just outside the office doors with Nathan filming on his phone. I bend myself into a painful pretzel climbing onto that undersized big wheel. Nathan has to place my feet on the pink pedals for me. At this point, my knees are practically behind my ears. I know, a moment of uncertainty. Am I actually going to be able to make this thing go? Will it still count as rule wrecking if Nathan has to push me down the hall? After all, the rule says you can't ride a big wheel in the school. There's nothing in the student handbook against sitting paralyzed on one, pushing on the pedals. And then my legs start to move, sending that big wheel rolling slowly down the corridor. Start shooting, I holler at the cameraman, and I pick up speed. Pretty soon I'm doing it, lumbering along on these noisy plastic wheels, cruising past trophy cases, bulletin boards, and pictures of graduating classes from long ago. My right hip is killing me, but at least I know I won't go limp because my left knee hurts worse. And anyway, it's all worth it for a rule well wrecked. Now comes the hard part, the U-turn at the end of the hall. Luckily, the entrance to the library is wide. Otherwise, I would have been hitting the walls and been stuck there for forever. Stall out a few times, but I managed to get myself headed in the right direction. I come roaring up the corridor at my cameraman, grinning in triumph, which is a wasted effort since no one will be able to see my face behind a Batman mask. By the time I reach Nathan, he has to jump out of the way because I'm freewheeling. The dismount isn't very graceful. Okay, I fall flat on my face and my nose is now bleeding. Did you get it? I pant. Tell me you got it. I got it, he crows. Hunched over his screen, we watch the video right then and there, and it is a thing of beauty. It looks like exactly what it is, a ridiculous rule being exposed for all to see. It looks like justice. On the spot, we upload it to the 7th grade chat. We use the name Freedom Avenger and title the clip Section 24B. That's the part of the Code of Student Behavior where the no big wheels rule is written down. Nathan exhales in relief. It's over. Let's go back to the dance. But you haven't had a turn yet. I don't want to turn, he counters. I just want to get back to my Grim Reaper costume and survive this night. I'm adamant, though. You'll never forgive yourself if you don't take a ride. It's epic. I believe you, but let's get out of here. No. I grab him by the shoulders and I force him onto the big wheel. Either he's way more flexible than I am, or those Lululemons really are amazing pants. Because his legs allow his feet to go right to the pedals, no problem. He isn't moving though. So I reach out with my foot and I give the big wheel a shove. And that was a major mistake. Nathan takes off at a sharp angle, ricocheting off the walls. Steer, I shout. And he does. Straight into the pedestal that holds the 1974 Girls State Championship field hockey trophy. The impact launches him free of the big wheel, and at the last second, he holds his hand up to protect his face, and his flailing elbows knock the trophy off the pedestal. The shiny award, the pride of Brightling Middle School, sails through the air and smashes into pieces as it bounces along the tiled floor. The wooden base breaks off. The winged victory figure is de-winged and decapitated. One handle snaps away. The cup itself looks battered and dented beyond recognition. Through the Squidward head, I can see the horror in Nathan's eyes. We're dead. We are so dead. We are dead. Mrs. Candiotti loves this trophy more than she loves Mr. Candiotti. Look what you made me do. We are... Maybe. It's not so bad. Calm down. We can collect the pieces, glue them together. Oh, sure. And no one's going to notice that the cup part looks like somebody ran it over with a cement mixer, he continues, raging on. He's right. Well, we've got to hide the evidence. I whip off my Batman cape and I spread it on the floor. We gather up what's left of the trophy and we tie the cape into a bundle. What about the big wheel? Nathan's wheezing. Leave it. I found it in the garage. Garbage. Sorry. There's no way anyone can tie it to us. We retrace our steps to the side entrance where we left our stuff. We switch back to the skeleton masks and shrug into our Grim Reaper robes. I open up the custodian's closet and I pull out 2 shovels. Nathan is distraught. What are those for? We're going to bury the broken you-know-what in the sandpit. It'll be like it never existed. Tell that to Mrs. Candiotti, he shoots back. She passes that pedestal 20 times a day. What's she gonna see? Nothing. It's better than finding it all smashed to pieces, I reason. Now grab a shovel and let's go. Stepping out of the building into the chilly Halloween night takes away what's left of our breaths. The pounding music from the dance is even louder out here since the gym windows are high and open. We can see as far down the street as we can, where little kids in colorful costumes swarm everywhere. I hope nobody notices two grim reapers carrying shovels instead of scythes, heading for the athletic field to bury some incriminating evidence. I can't believe what we're doing right now, Nathan moans. I try to put a positive spin on it. This happens in rule writing every now and then. You have to be able to think on your feet, improvise. To be honest, I'm a little freaked out myself. It shows how wrong things can go. You start out by riding a big wheel, before you know it, you're burying a beloved trophy behind the school. The blacktop is lighted, but once we reach the running track, we have to use our phones to see in the inky darkness. The sand pit's in the middle, where the jumping events are held, but we have trouble finding it until Nathan stubs his toe and falls face first into it. Comes up, spit and sand. We start to dig, and boy, what a mess. It rained last night, so under the surface layer of dry sand is just pure mud. If we weren't so frantic, we would have been pelting each other with dirt. But it's dark, so we couldn't see where our shovels were throwing. Plus, we're in a hurry to get out of here. We need to be quick so we can sneak back into the dance and pretend that we were never gone. Do you think it's deep enough yet? Nathan pants. I shine my phone light down. It'll have to do. I drop my shovel and I pick up the cape bundle containing the broken trophy pieces, and a large hand suddenly grabs my wrist. Now, what do we have here? Asks a deep and snarky voice from behind me. Several phones shine on Nathan and me, lighting up the sandpit. 5 hulking high school guys are surrounding us, close and menacing. Nothing, nothing, nothing. No, we're just digging. Dude, they're carrying their candy. They're burying their candy, exclaims one of the biggest guys. How stupid can you get? The ants will get to it. Correction, the first kid says. I'm gonna get it. He rips the bundle from my hands. But it's not candy, Nathan says. Laughing and trading high fives, they shove us into the pit and they kick the sand and mud on us. With a chorus of so long, suckers, eat dirt. Happy Halloween! They run off into the night, waving the bundle of trophy pieces triumphantly over their heads. We crawl back onto the grass, spitting sand and grime. Now what are we gonna do? Nathan laments. Nothing. We came out here to disappear that trophy, and now it's gone, I say. We pick ourselves up off the ground, grab the shovels, and begin to trudge back into the school. I'm never going to forgive you for this, man, Nathan says bitterly. This is the worst night of my life. I'll bet I can make you smile. I may never smile again, he seethes. Just picture those high school jerks opening up the cape and expecting to find it full of candy. By the time we make it back to the school, we're both laughing hysterically. We head straight to the gym, slip inside, and immediately melt into the crowd. To our enormous relief, nobody seems to have noticed that we went missing. How could they? The Halloween dance is shaping up into one of the greatest middle school bashes of all time. The sound system is cranked up so loud that the basketball nets are vibrating with the pounding bass. So many kids are dancing that the floor is actually moving under our feet. Stinky is dancing atop one of the giant speaker towers, punching the air with his half-crushed fish in time with the beat. Sweat is running down from his hairline and washing the me off of his forehead and into his bushy unibrow. Nathan elbows me in the ribs, his horror even evidenced through the eye holes of his mask. What's the problem, I ask. Nobody saw us come in. The shovels! We forgot about the shovels! I stare at the muddy implement in my hand. He's right. Talk about a rookie mistake. And all the excitement of getting jumped by those high school kids, we forgot to put back the shovels and pick up our scythes. We we can fix it. We'll go back to the closet, and at that moment, the music dies, and the DJ shines a spotlight on Mrs. Arnett. All right, people, we'll get back to the music and the fun, but right now I want everyone to line up for the best costume contest. Nathan gestures desperately in the direction of the exit. I shake my head. It's too late. We'll be noticed. All we can do is join the slow parade past the judges and hope that nobody sees two grim reapers carrying shovels instead of scythes. As we make our way into the long queue, the DJ brings up the lights in the gym, and that's when I get my first look at myself and at Nathan. Our robes are covered in sand and dirt, and every step rains more grime. Heart sinking, I try to walk in Nathan's footsteps to avoid leaving a second set of muddy prints on the parquet floor. As we shuffle along the line, Coach Gilderoy scorches me with a furious glare. His specialty is basketball, and that polished gym floor is his pride and joy. I sense that the first chance he gets, he's going to sentence us to 10,000 push ups in PE class. Only 3 people are the judges: Mrs. Arnett, Mrs. Berg, and Mr. Adact. Since basically every kid in the school is in costume, it takes 20 whole minutes for us to make our way past the judging table. When we finally get there, Nathan tries to hide his shovel in the fold of his robes. I take the opposite approach, and I hold it high over my head in triumph. If I have to be stuck with a shovel, I'm going to act like it's supposed to be there. Never let the teachers see you look guilty, especially when you're as guilty as sin. The lady judges make notes, but not Mr. Adact, who just peers at us with those intense blue eyes. At last, the viewing's over, and the music comes back on while the 3 judges confer. I grab Nathan and I drag him out on the dance floor. Not that I have any interest in dancing, but it's a good way to escape Mr. Adact's steady blue gaze. We sidle over to Rosalie. She's dancing with Kevin, who's wearing a bushy white wig. Mary Curie and Albert Einstein. Classic Kevin, always pretending to be the genius that he's not. Great party, Rosalie, I call over. Your mom really did pull it off. Instead of saying thank you, she frowns with suspicion. What's up with the shovels? Yeah, Kevin chimes in. What is up with the shovels? Some of the dust from my robes finds its way up his nose, and Kevin lets out a mighty sneeze. His big wig topples off his head, and Nathan catches it neatly with his shovel. That's what the shovels are for, I supply, deadpan. But didn't you guys have scythes when you came in? Rosalie persists. Grim Reapers carry scythes. The general buzz of conversation covers the silence as kids speculate on their favorite characters to win. One voice asks, Hey, does anyone smell fish? I sniff. He's right. I guess Stinky's uncostume has finally started to defrost, although the fishy odor isn't very noticeable amid the sweat and Axe body spray. Just then the music cuts out and Mrs. Arnett grabs the microphone yet again. The judges have come to their decision. The winners of the best costume contest are the 2 Gravediggers. There's a smattering of applause, but mostly a confused murmur ripples through the gym. Gravediggers? What gravediggers? I'll admit I've been here for all of 2 seconds of the dance, but I've had a pretty good look around and I definitely don't see any gravedigger. The attention to detail in those costumes is impressive, Miss Arnett goes on. The dirt on their shovels, even on their robes. You'd really believe they've been digging a... That's when the DJ spotlight shines on Nathan and me. Come on up, gravediggers, and take a well-deserved bow. Luckily, our ovation covers the sound of Kevin's big mouth. But I thought they were supposed to be Grim Reapers. Because nobody sold any Flaxplosion bars, there wasn't enough money to buy a prize for the contest winners. So guess what? We won the unsold Flaxplosion bars, 1 carton each, containing 144 units. Sometimes with this school contest, it's hard to tell the winners from the losers. The real prize will come later, though, when 800 kids head home from the dance and log into the 7th grade chat. There they will find our Rule 24B totally wrecked.